So perhaps my video regarding Novak Djokovic and his injury proved to be incorrect, but that wasn't the point. The point was that the media was twisting Djokovic's words and making it out that he was only concerned about himself and his injury, when in actual fact, he was talking about the poor preparation from the French Open staff, the grounds people, and how the court, the conditions were compromised, and it led, in his case, to him being injured, but it could have been anyone else. Could have been any other players, but it was Djokovic. And in this case, now Wimbledon's doubtful. Djokovic is set to have surgery. Wimbledon is doubtful. People saying it will take at least 3 weeks of recovery, according to L'Equipe, the French sports journal. And it seems to be that he'll be back for the Olympics. A lot of people saying online that they're surprised Djokovic has opted for surgery, because in the past he's been a bit hesitant in regards to surgery, which I'll get to in a moment. But perhaps it shows a bit of fire in Djokovic, a bit of hunger, determination to come back and take and challenge Sinner and Alcaraz and all the others to win some of these major titles, perhaps as soon as the Olympics or Wimbledon, we'll see. But 2024 has been turbulent for Djokovic, there's no doubts about that. Straight off the bat, having those injury problems in the elbow at the United Cup, going to the Australian Open, a bit undercooked in my opinion, played too much at the back end of 2023, lost semi-finals, but in a bad fashion, let's be honest. The Sinner wasn't at his 100% fitness, moved on, tried to move on quickly, played Indian Wells, got cooked by Luca Nardi, moved to the clay season. Okay results in Monte Carlo, but it was quite poor, just managing his way through to the semi-finals, in which he lost to Casper Ruud. Okay there, but he moves on. He loses after skipping Madrid. He loses at Rome. But of course, he got hit in the head by a water bottle, an aluminium water bottle, has tests to see for concussion. He moves on, loses in horrible fashion to Tabilio, the Chilean tennis player. And then he goes back to Belgrade, Serbia, gets his head checked, gets a piece of his head or hair cut out, gets stitches, moves on, plays Geneva, loses again in the semi-finals, but his level somewhat coming back, starts to play well at the French Open, plays a very late night match against Musetti, then he gets injured after winning 5 sets, finishing at 3 a.m. 2 days later, he gets injured in the second set, or aggravates an injury, pre-existing injury, comes back from behind, wins with an injury, plays so well, retires the next day. That's Djokovic's 2024 in a nutshell. We'll see how it finishes off, but in regards to his future, Wimbledon is doubtful, but Taylor Fritz, if you remember, back in 2021, did come back after only like 2 weeks and played Wimbledon, and maybe even played a warm-up tournament to Wimbledon. So he came back in rapid time, but they only snipped his meniscus. I'm not sure what the severity of Djokovic's meniscus surgery is. It is arthroscopic, I'm pretty sure, but that doesn't tell you much. That being said, we'll see what happens with Djokovic. Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Casper Ruud, they showed their sympathies with Novak Djokovic. As this article suggests from ESPN, he is undergoing surgery on that torn meniscus today, which will put his status in doubt for Wimbledon. All I can say is Djokovic played so well against Francisco Cerundolo and Musetti, but more relevant is that match against Cerundolo, doing crazy movements with a torn meniscus. It's absolutely crazy. If you do have a compromised meniscus, it does put the rest of your knee at risk. Other ligaments, medial, anterior, lateral, posterior ligaments, the cruciate ligaments, you know what? It's not worth it. And also you can even make that meniscus tear even larger. He could have actually played against Casper Ruud. It would have been a tough ask, but he could have taped it up, made it less, more stable, could have put down those painkillers, and he could have played, but he's decided alongside his doctors that it's not the right choice, and he's hoping, we assume, to be back for either Wimbledon or the Olympics. But you know what? You never even know. We'll see the severity of the injury, because who knows? Maybe it's a massive injury and he'll be back at the US Open or next year. You don't know. We'll have to wait at least a week, I would say, to know the full severity of the problem, and it's quite saddening. It's not only the fact he might miss Wimbledon. He had a great chance to win the French Open, and although Sinner, Alcaraz, Zverev, Casper Ruud, all the others, the great contenders, Djokovic was actually peaking in my opinion, and he found this fire at Roland Garros. Hopefully for his sake, he can carry that into future tournaments where he's fit. And it makes you think for Nadal and Nadal's fans, all these years of him being injured, in his prime, getting hurt. Djokovic has had other excuses, less to do with his health. I won't get into that. But none of these players, Federer, Djokovic, Nadal, and of course Murray and Wawrinka and all the others, have been injury-free. It's a misconception. Djokovic missed, 2 years of his career. It's not the one you're thinking of. I'm thinking of 2016 to 2018 where he put off surgery. Some can say that was his choice, but you know what, he was non-competitive for the whole of 2017 and a bit of 2018. So going on a tangent now, but it's an interesting story developing with Djokovic, and we'll make sure to follow it. And just a quick message from our sponsor of the video today, sporticproductions, where you can get cheap, reliable, and fast delivered jerseys, which I really do like. I have been delivered the Portugal Ronaldo jersey and a Manchester United jersey, all of which are of great quality. And I might even do a ranking Euros kits tier list, whereby we can rank all the Euros kits in a tier list. Before the Euros, go ahead and grab some jerseys. Here we have the Italian 2024 jersey, and for only $29 American, you can grab that. Also, you can get your shirt customized with a name and number, and even a patch for only $10 more, which is pretty cheap. Furthermore, once we put this in, let's say we have a medium with a name and a number and a patch, a fully customized jersey comes out to $45 American. That's pretty good, plus some shipping. That being said, that's probably cancelled out by the fact that we have a coupon code, which is SPORT. Put that in, we get a 10% discount code, comes now down to $40. Be fast, get in quick before the Euros, use code SPORT. And once again, thank you for sporticproductions for sponsoring this video. That being said, my opinion is that 4 Grand Slams, the ITF, and this might get some flame in the comments, but they're happy. They're happy, not that Djokovic is injured, but that Djokovic is not going to be a competitor for at least Roland Garros. They're happy to have the Sinner Alcaraz matchup start a new rivalry once and for all at Roland Garros. Djokovic will probably come back at some stage and contend again, but they're happy for him to be out of the way and to start this new rivalry. Specifically, Sinner and Alcaraz, they hope some others can pop up here and there, trying to start a new Federer and Nadal rivalry between Sinner and Alcaraz. Is it artificial? Perhaps. I'm not saying it's not a great rivalry. They've already had a few great matches, but we'll see what happens. Personally, I do believe Alcaraz should beat Sinner. I think, even though I said Ruud might beat Zverev, I think Zverev should beat de Minaur and Ruud, and we can have an Alcaraz-Zverev final, which is actually a pretty even matchup. A long way away, including a matchup today between de Minaur and Zverev. But the real story of the last 24 hours is Sinner becoming #1, but that was as a result of Novak Djokovic having a surgery, getting injured, tearing his medial meniscus, right knee, of course. That's even worse. And we'll see what happens. We'll keep you updated with the situation regarding Djokovic. If he can get out of this year fully fit and maybe win either one of Wimbledon, the US Open, or the Olympic gold medal, we'll have to take that as a success. If he doesn't, he's still a legend of our game, and he'll be back next year. That being said, let me know in the comments down below what is your opinion as to when Djokovic should return if he can, and who do you think will win Roland Garros in the absence of Novak Djokovic. So that's it. Until next time.